The Vrek'sha didn't understand the concept of a shop. Megan Hayes leaned against the counter of her supply store on Outpost Kepler-9, watching 3 young Vrek'sha cubs hovering near the entrance. They'd been there for 20 minutes, whispering in their clicking language, clearly wanting something but too nervous to approach. The Vrek'sha were new to the station, an honor-bound warrior species where everything was earned through strength. The strongest hunter ate first. The fastest fighter got the best shelter. Trading was considered manipulation, barter was weakness, and the concept of buying something with anything other than combat prowess was alien to them. But these 3 cubs, Rax, Shiel, and little Vix, kept coming back. "You gonna stand there all day? Or are you coming in?" Megan called. They shuffled forward. Rax, the eldest at maybe 8 standard years, held out a smooth black stone. We want the sweetbread. From yesterday." Megan examined the stone. Pretty, probably from the river outside the settlement. Worth nothing to her, worth everything to a kid who thought it was special. "Deal," she said, handing over the sweetbread. The cubs' eyes went wide. They hadn't expected it to work. They grabbed the bread, split it 3 ways with surprising precision, and bolted. The next day they brought more stones. Then interesting seed pods. Then a small carved figure that was actually pretty good. Each time, Megan traded for snacks, small tools, whatever they wanted. She charged way less than the items were worth, but something was happening here that mattered more than profit. On the 4th visit, Rax asked, "Why do you accept our offerings? You are not Vrek'sha. You do not follow the honor strength laws." "Because I follow different laws. Supply and demand. Fair exchange. You want something, I want something. We both walk away happy." "But you are stronger," Shiel said, confused. "You could simply take our stones and give us nothing." "I could. But then you wouldn't come back, and I'd lose customers. Better to have you return 50 times than rob you once." The cubs looked at each other like she'd just explained quantum physics. Over the next weeks, something unexpected happened. The cubs started trading with each other. Rax was good at finding things. Shiel was clever at fixing broken tech. Vix had discovered she could weave decorative patterns from station fibers. They began exchanging services. "I fix your datapad, you find me 3 red stones. I make you a bracelet, you teach me the human number system." The adult Vrek'sha noticed, and they were not pleased. Megan was in her shop when war leader Kreth stormed in, his massive 8-foot frame radiating fury. Behind him, 3 ashamed cubs stood with their heads low. "You teach our young the ways of manipulation," Kreth snarled. "Trade is dishonor. Resources are claimed by strength, distributed by merit of combat. You corrupt them with your human weakness." Megan straightened. She'd dealt with angry customers before. "I didn't teach them anything. They came to me wanting to exchange items. I accepted. That's all. You should have refused. Turned them away. Taught them proper strength." His claws scraped the counter. "They now barter like merchants instead of hunt like warriors. They trade favors. They negotiate. This is shame upon their bloodlines." "Is it?" Megan crossed her arms. "Or is it just different from what you know?" "It is weakness." "Then prove it." Kreth's eyes narrowed. "Explain. You said trade is weakness, strength is supreme." "Fine. For the next month, I'll teach these 3 everything I know about economics, negotiation, and resource management. You keep the rest of your cubs in the traditional system. At the end of 30 days, we see which group is better off. If I'm corrupting them with weakness, it'll show." The war leader's mandibles clicked thoughtfully. "And when you fail, I leave the station. But when I'm right, you admit trade is just another kind of strength." Kreth's laugh was like grinding stones. "Agreed. 30 days. Megan set up shop in an unused storage bay. Rax, Shiel, and Vix arrived each morning, eager and nervous. She taught them everything her grandmother had taught her growing up in Lagos markets. Value assessment. Something is worth what someone will pay for it, not what it cost you. Negotiation. Never accept the first offer. Never make your best offer first. Find the middle where both sides win. Supply and demand. Scarcity increases value. Abundance decreases it. Control information about both. Diversification. Never depend on one source of anything. Multiple suppliers, multiple products, multiple skills. The cubs were brilliant students. Their predator focus, trained for hunting, made them exceptional at reading social cues and identifying what people wanted. She'll realized other species on the station needed repairs and started a fix-it service. Vix discovered humans loved her woven goods and started taking commissions. Rax became a broker, connecting people who needed things with people who had things. They created a whole economy among the station's children, not just Vrek'sha, but human kids, Centaurian young, even a few Drell adolescents. A vibrant trade network emerged based on wants and skills rather than strength hierarchies. Then disaster struck. A solar storm delayed the quarterly supply ship by 6 weeks. Outpost Kepler-9 had 3 weeks of rations left. Station command implemented emergency rationing, but it wasn't enough. People were going hungry. The traditional Vrek'sha system broke down immediately. The strongest warriors seized the best food stores. Fights broke out. Resources were hoarded. The weak went hungry while the strong gorged. It was honorable, but it was also wasteful and cruel. Megan watched Kreth try to maintain order through increasingly violent dominance displays. It wasn't working. Then Rax appeared at her shop. Megan Hayes, we wish to try something. What? A market. A real one. For the whole station. The cubs had been preparing. They'd inventoried who had what skills, what resources existed, what people needed most. They proposed a structured barter fair in the central hub, not based on strength, but on mutual exchange. Your adults will never agree, Megan said. They will if it works, Vix said quietly. The first market was small. 20 participants, mostly non-Vrek'sha. A human engineer traded repair work for food credits. A Centaurian farmer traded hydroponic vegetables for medical supplies. She'll brokered a deal where 3 families pooled resources to create communal meals, stretching rations further. It was efficient. Shockingly so. By the second week, 50 people participated. Rax had set up a credit system using coded tokens. You could earn value through services even if you had nothing physical to trade. Vix created a bulletin board showing what people offered versus what they needed. She'll ran a dispute resolution service when trades went wrong. The market redistributed resources based on need and efficiency rather than fighting. Less food was wasted. More people were fed. Skills were utilized. The station survived. Kreth watched from the observation deck, his expression unreadable. On day 30, the war leader descended to the market floor. The crowd fell silent. Rax, Shiel, and Vix stood together, nervous but proud. You created this? Kreth asked. Yes, war leader, Rax said. Without dominance combat? Without strength hierarchy. We used different strength, Shiel said carefully. Strength of knowing what people want. Strength of creating fair exchange. Strength of building systems that work. Kreth looked at Megan. This is human strength. This is economic strength, Megan corrected. Humans didn't invent it because we're special. We invented it because we're weak. We couldn't take resources by force, so we got really good at exchanging them instead. Trade is just warfare by other means, except everybody wins. The war leader was silent for a long moment. Then he did something unprecedented. He reached into his personal pack and pulled out a ceremonial blade, a weapon of immense value to Vrek'sha. Megan Hayes, he said formally. What will you trade for this? The market held its breath. Megan smiled. 3 things. First, you acknowledge trade as a valid form of strength. Second, you let these 3 cubs teach others their skills. Third, you give me a vendor stall at your next warrior gathering, so I can sell to your people proper. Kretha's mandibles clicked in what might have been amusement. The human negotiates hard. I accept. He placed the blade on her counter. Megan wrapped it carefully and handed him a small bag. Premium coffee beans, impossibly rare on the station. For strength of a different kind, she said. Enjoy. 3 months later, Megan's shop had expanded into 3 stalls. The Vrek'sha had integrated barter into their culture, not replacing combat honor, but supplementing it. Warriors still earned status through strength, but they also earned wealth through trade. The Cubs ran the station's most successful merchant network. Rax approached her one evening, his scales showing the blue of deep thought. "Megan Hayes, we have a question." "Shoot." "Humans were not the strongest on your world. Not the fastest. Not the most dangerous. Yet you became apex. We always wondered how. And now we understand. You became apex not through taking, but through exchanging. Not through hoarding, but through trading. Not through strength alone, but through creating systems where everyone's strength multiplies together." He paused. "Markets are not weakness. Markets are weapons. You taught the galaxy to fight with commerce instead of claws." Megan laughed. "Kid, you just described the last 5,000 years of human history in 3 sentences. Yeah, we weaponized economics. Turns out, making people rich is more powerful than making them dead. Dead customers don't come back. Happy traders do." She looked out at the bustling market, at species that had been fighting over scraps now negotiating fair trades, at abundance created not from more resources but from better distribution. "Your people taught the galaxy what warrior honor looks like," Megan said. "Maybe we taught you what merchant honor looks like. Different strengths, same goal, survival." Vix brought over a ledger showing the month's trades. "We've improved station efficiency by 37%. Less waste, better resource allocation, happier population, and better profit margins," Sheil added with a clicking laugh. Megan grinned. These kids got it. They understood what humanity had learned millennia ago. You don't conquer the galaxy with the biggest guns. You conquer it with the best deals. Because the strongest warrior wins one fight. But a good merchant wins every exchange. Forever. And that, Megan thought, watching her students negotiate their latest trades, was the most human thing of all.